And a very good morning. Welcome to the Saturday preview with myself, David Massey. Back after a bit of a break on holiday last week, after the exertions of Royal Ascot, which wasn't my greatest week. It would be fair to say. Form this week's been a bit in and out as well. A couple of run all right. We could just do with a winner or two on Saturday, really. Couldn't really get ourselves going. We've got Sandown. We've got Haydock. I'm not looking at Haydock. You know I'm not looking at Haydock. I can't stand the place. I think it's a dreadful place for a bet these days. I'm just more than happy just to write the meeting off as soon as I see it, which sort of leaves you a bit with Sandown as the main meeting Saturday. But I'll be at Leicester tomorrow. I'm going to be working there. It's their Ladies' Day, so very, very busy day coming up for me. And I have looked at the Leicester card. There might be one on the Leicester card that I'm interested in, and one at Beverley as well that's worth a mention, if nothing else, in a 2-year-old race. Very rare I play in 2-year-old races, but it's a horse that's on my tracker, and it's worth a mention. Looking at Sandown then, probably sort of 2.5 races of interest, as it were. The Coral Charge at 150 is definitely one of the races that I'm interested in. Those of you with good memories will remember I put up the Cruising Lord about a month ago for a listed race here, when he just got beaten by Curious, and there wasn't a lot in it. There was a neck in it. Curious gave him the Cruising Lord had given him £5 that day, and tomorrow he's only got to give £3, and he got beaten a neck. And I don't know whether he got the best of rides at Sandown or not. I think the horse was sort of disappointed too out when he wanted to go forward, and then by the time he worked his way through, it was just a little bit too late. It was really well backed as well. The Curious Lord that day, he was a 20 to Cruising Lord. He was a 20 to 1 chance in the morning. Went off, I think, around about 8 from memory. So you've got plus points straight away with the Cruising Lord. One, he's had 2 runs at the track and finished second both times over 5 furlongs. So he clearly acts well on the track. He acts on all grounds. It was soft last time at Sandown, but he won on Bath's rattling quick ground earlier in the season. So he'll have no problem with the ground, whatever that is. And again, the draws worked out okay for him tomorrow. He's drawn in stall 3 tomorrow. And he's got hold-up horses all around him. He's got Sergei Prokofiev in stall 2. Now, he has got ground to make up with Sergei Prokofiev on Cornwallis form of last year. 3 lengths to find, in fact. But whereas the Cruising Lord, I think, has at least run to the same level and possibly improved a little bit, Sergei Prokofiev, for me now, has a bit to prove. So he's got Sergei Prokofiev, as I say, in stall 2 next to him. He's got Muthmia, who's always a hold-up horse, and would be a big danger here, actually, Muthmia, if he gets a run. He's got him in stall 5, and he's got the often slowly away and tends to be held up Pocket Dynamo in 4. So from stall 3, I think if Jason Watts can pop him out and take a lead off what is the likely pace setter, Caspian Prince, who isn't well drawn, and is going to have to come across, I think if he can just sit alongside him on his inside and get that rail to himself, I think he's got a big chance tomorrow, the Cruising Lord. He needs a step forward, yes, he does need a step forward on what he's done, but he's clearly got ability, he clearly acts well on the track, and you can get 25 to 1 about him in a couple of places. I think, as I'm doing this, by the way, I'm doing this, as you can see from the clock behind me, don't forget you're reversing it, it's 11 o'clock, not 1 o'clock as it might look to you. So it's 11 o'clock on Friday morning, and as I'm looking at odds checker, there's generally 20, 22 around, 25 Paddy Power and Betfair. So I should be taking the 25s about the Cruising Lord in a moment or two once we've done the vid. 225, the mile handicap, that's the next race to have a look at. Really, really difficult. A lot of those that are well drawn, I'm struggling to make really solid cases for, and as such, I think this is quite an open race. I suppose you ought to start with History Writer, who I sort of let go really last time, and I should have given him one more chance. He's got a good record at Sandown, 2 wins, 2 places now from 5 starts at Sandown. Obvious chance after that win last time. That was on softer ground. He's £6 higher here, and he's got quicker ground to contend with. And stall 11, his chances there. It's obvious enough, but you know you're talking 6-1 the field here, and he's the favourite. You've got loads in with some sort of a chance. Greenside's another that goes well here. He'll be held up right out the back from stall 4. He's going to need a little bit of luck, I think, but he's an obvious one. Via Serendipity made all to win at Chelmsford last time, but he's only £2 higher here, so from a handicapping point of view, has every chance. But he is going to have company on the front end here with Zhui Feng, who's drawn 10. The two of them are going to be making this, and it will be a decent test. This. The two that moderately interest me, and only moderately at the moment, in a very, very difficult race, I have to say. Escobar, who was second in this race last year, he was better drawn last year. He was drawn stall 1. This year he's drawn stall 9. It's not ideal, and he is going to need. And again, he's a hold up similar to Greenside. He's going to need some luck in running. But as I say, he was second in this last year. He's £4 lower this time around because he hasn't fired yet this season, and this is why you're sort of getting a price about him. If he came here in better form, especially given the form of last year, you wouldn't be getting 20-1. You're taking a bit of a chance, really, that he is going to return to form and that he is going to find a run. Having said that, there are plenty of firms are playing 4 places tomorrow, which makes some appeal because you can just see him being the sort that might get a little bit unlucky in the run, burst through and nab a place. Andrei Atzani, an interesting booking as well for David O'Meara. I knew he'd not had many rides for O'Meara. He's 2 from 15, but he's had 8 other rides that have made the frame as well, second and third for him. So risky, definitely. It's 20-1 around this morning. 4 places. I think that's just about fair enough. The other one that I sort of looked at was Rum Runner, but he's even worse drawn. I mean, still 12. It's the same as last year. Last year he ran quite well in this. He had to come over from a very high draw last year, Rum Runner, to make the running, and eventually paid for that. Finished midfield, but I think he was back 7th or 8th, I think, in it last year. 8th, I think, off the top of my head. But as I say, used up all the petrol last year early. And if he'd been better drawn, Rum Runner, a bit nearer the inside, I think I would have fancied him an awful lot more than I do from stall 12. He is tactically versatile. He doesn't have to lead. He can sit in behind. But again, you're trusting to luck a bit, really. And most of his best forms come over 7 rather than the mile. But again, he's 20-1 at the moment. Even at 20, that's only just. I'd want him to sort of drift a bit more than that, to be honest, if I was going to have a saver on Rum Runner. It's that sort of a race. Something's going to come back to form here, I think. They'd be the two that are sort of top of my list, Escobar and Rum Runner. You've got the distaff at 3 o'clock, over the page on my notes. Over the page, as they say. All the best point-to-points. The distaff, I don't really like these races much at the best of time. I gave a bit of a look to Modern Millie in stall 2, who again 25-1, got no run at all at Ascot in the what was the race? Albany, not the Albany. I can't remember now. Sandringham, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been the Sandringham. Got no run. The race that Thanks B won was held up along with Thanks B. The pair of them were held up on the far side, and to be fair, with sort of 3 furlongs to run, was travelling as well. But then the problems start for Modern Millie. Goes left, no run. Goes right, no run. Doesn't really know where to go. By the time she gets a run, she's just sort of run on into midfield now. Whereas Thanks B, the split came nicely up the middle, and Hayley said thank you very much. Now, you can argue a case that Modern Millie simply didn't have the tactical speed at that point. And with that in mind, I think Sandown is going to suit her a bit better. She has got a bit to find on form, but she is improving. She is, slowly taking steps forward. If the dead 8 lined up, I think that's the key. If the dead 8 lined up and you could get 25-1 about that, I might throw a couple of quid each way at her to take another step forward. She could go okay in a race that, 1 or 2 of them that are nearer the front of the market might have had their day already. Main Edition I like a lot, or certainly did last year. has won this year, but again, I'm just sort of questioning how much more she's got in the tank. Same with Hidden Message. Hidden Message won at Yarmouth last year, and I did warn you then. I wasn't sure the form would work out. It was okay last time. Raced at Chantilly, I think, or Clairefontaine, one of the two. Finished fourth in what looked a fairly average Group 2. I think, as I say, Dead 8 have got a line up for me, and Modern Millie would be of some interest then. I'll give you a couple of others that I just sort of, at the moment, I'm looking at. 340 at Leicester, as I say, I'm going to be at Leicester tomorrow. 340 at Leicester, this is a weird contest. This, it's a handicap, and I sort of went through it a couple of times. The Glen Coco is undoubtedly going to be favourite for this. Won 4 on the trot, Glen Coco. But the handicapper piles it on again, makes it harder. The one that was interesting for me at the moment, as I say, it all depends. I'm going to look through the race again with a bit more of a fine tooth comb later. But I thought Sir Titan, who was with Marcus Trigoni last year, has had a couple of runs now for Tony Carroll. This is third run. Would have certainly needed both runs to get anywhere near fit. First run finished 7th to 7, was well beaten, but it was better last time at Goodwood. Went from the front, finished 7th, but wasn't beaten all that far, and is clearly just getting fit for something. He'll be able to take a lead here, I think, off Cox's Bazaar, who's a 5 furlong horse and won't stay, I don't think. And I can just sort of see Sir Titan taking over at the 2 furlong pole, and then might be tough to pass. He's certainly coming back down to a winning mark. Won off 84 last year, 85 tomorrow. Conditions absolutely fine. I think Leicester will be okay. Leicester should suit. So there was, again, it's all going to depend on price. We need to have a look at what the price is going to be. But he's of some interest at Leicester. And over at Beverley, I'll give you this 2-year-old in the first race. One that went in the tracker after first run at Hamilton about 6 weeks ago. I think it was about 4 weeks ago. Tipsy Toad, who finished 4th there. I mean, we're not going to see the best of Tipsy. That was over 6 furlongs on soft ground. We're not going to see the best of Tipsy Toad until he starts going over a mile plus, really. He wants middle distance. He will want middle distances in time. Tomorrow, 7.5 furlongs at Beverley, going up a furlong and a half, and he's got an uphill finish. Now, there was enough in the run at Hamilton when he finished 4th to make me think that there is a race to be won with Tipsy Toad. The extra furlong and a half is going to be very much in Tipsy Toad's favour, as is the fact that he'll be laden with stamina in the uphill finish. If he can take a step forward from that, there's going to be a couple of short ones in the race here. King's Cape is going to be favourite, I think, but there's nothing in here that I would be massively worried about. And I think, as I say again, all depends on price. Hoping we can get a decent double figure price about Tipsy Toad, and if that's the case, then I'll be looking at him each way as well in that first race at Beverley, because he should come on plenty for that first run. So there we go. Best bet tomorrow. I really have got high hopes for the Cruising Lord in that first race at Sandown tomorrow. 25 to 1 looks a big price to me. I'm going to be having a bit of that now. I think he'll run really well and outrun those odds, and wouldn't surprise me if they come for him again tomorrow, given the way that he was well back last time out. So there we go. Best of luck over the weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday with some eye catches for you that I've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Been racing quite a bit, and I've got 1 or 2 certainly on Tuesday and on Wednesday that you'll be wanting to put in your trackers. Good luck, guys. Thanks a lot.